everybody, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. This is the start of my end of year videos. This is the first one that came to mind other than my favorite books of 2020. This is a video, obviously you know what it is if you clicked on it, is my favorite Kindle Unlimited books that I read in 2020. Currently, I am at 189 books read. I still have a couple more planned, either in buddy reads or whatnot, or I'm currently in the middle of. But that being said, I have read quite a few books. I haven't loved a lot of books this year, but I do have some of my favorites that are in the Kindle Unlimited service that Amazon provides, I guess. So that being said, I have a couple books to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. So the very first one I'm going to talk about, I actually received as an ARC, and that's Lilac by B.B. Reed. This is a book that I was absolutely so excited about. It's a standalone reverse harem rockstar romance. So if you like rockstar romances, if you like reverse harem, if you like a little bit more emotional kind of thing going on, this is so much fun. So this book is about a young girl who she wants to be a guitarist. She ends up getting this gig, which is like a dream come true, to end up playing with this really famous rock band. The lead guitarist ends up passing away and she comes in to take their or his place. The big thing is this group, they are very dysfunctional. They used to be best friends, but something happened where, you know, they've kind of like gone their separate ways and they're only together for, you know, being a part of this band. This is a story, obviously, if it's reverse harem, so she has a relationship with all the guys, and it was definitely one that I knew I was gonna love going into it. As soon as I started reading it, I really enjoyed it. So at the beginning, Braxton is learning really how to play with these guys. She plays the guitar really well, but you know, she has to learn how to, you know, play with these guys. So that part is a huge, you know, chunk of the book, you know, going on the beginning of the tour and everything like this. I found it a little bit slow burn as well. Even though it's a standalone, this is quite a long book, but I absolutely enjoyed it so much. There is a lot of angst and heartbreak and all that good stuff, and B.B. Reed really delivered in her very first reverse harem book, and I absolutely loved it. So the second book I want to talk about is by TaShawn, and if you've read Ryan's Bed and you really like this, I think you'll like the Not Outcast by her. So this is a book that really just, oh my gosh, just gave me all of the feels. I'm pretty sure I cried a couple times in this book. It's a stepbrother's best friend romance. It deals with mental illness. It deals with the main guy character. He is a hockey player, and just, oh my gosh, I really liked this. The main character, she has a great group of friends that surround her, and honestly, like, I would love to see books about those friends as well because they were just great characters. I really like to see strong female friendships in a book, and I really think this book delivered that. Also, I really enjoy those books that kind of deal with mental illness and different things like that, and I just really enjoyed this book a lot. So if you're looking for something that's going to give you a lot of feels, a lot of like heartbreak, as well as, I don't know, just amazingness, definitely check this out. If you like this author, if you liked Ryan's Bed, or like something a little bit more deeper than just your normal, you know, Kindle Unlimited romance, this one was so good. So I recently talked about this one in my beginner dark romance book recommendations, and that is Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. This is another standalone reverse harem book. It is a dark reverse harem, and I really liked this. So our main character, she has kind of like moved away from her father, who's just like does bad things. He's kind of a loser, and he ends up basically like selling her to these like group of guys, and she has her life together. She owns this bar, she's like respectable-ish, and they just come in and kind of like take her away. So it's, in a way, it's like a captive, but not really. Each of the guys have such completely different personalities. You have the one who is like the businessman, super cold. You have another one that's like literally on the crazy train, and like, if you know the books that I really like those type of characters, and that was a great one to see. So you just get all of these different guys in this book, and just darkness and like craziness. I just really enjoyed it. So since this is a dark romance, there's definitely some trigger warnings involved in it, so definitely check those out if that's something that you might be sensitive to or sensitive to certain subjects. Definitely check out those trigger warnings before you go in. Okay, so I have actually two different, one's a book series, one's a book by the same author, and that's Candice Wandrax. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Midpark High series. It's definitely a new adult series, but the main character is, I think, maybe a senior in high school if I'm not mistaken, which sometimes the was a little weird, but I really enjoyed this because this series takes place in the Cruel Black Hearts and the other series that she has that kind of like intertwine. You see the characters go in and out, and I really love this. This is a story about a girl who comes to town. She doesn't really know anyone, and she meets these different guys. One of them ends up coming back from her past and decides to go to school with her. Another one is a very mysterious guy she doesn't know too much about, but obviously he's a little bit darker, has tattoos and things like that, just your typical stuff. But I really like this author, and I really like her dark romances. I always have to say the beginning of these series are always just so good, and they always draw me in, and the darkness and the craziness of the characters and the situations that this author puts them in is just so good. So either way, if you like this author, or if you are looking for a reverse harem that gives you a little bit of steam, a little bit of darkness, all of the above, definitely check out this series. So the next book by Candice Wandrax is Vile Wicked Eyes. This is the novella book that goes along with the Cruel Black Heart series. I loved that series, let me tell you. I just remember diving into the first books, waiting absolutely so eagerly for the third book, and then when this came out, I devoured it. So it just kind of is a continuation of the first three books. And if you don't know what the Cruel Black Hearts series is about, our main character Stella, she is obsessed with serial killers. She writes a blog about them. Her job as a news reporter, basically all she writes about are serial killers. So she attracts those types of people to her life, and it's definitely a dark romance. There's a lot of dark things, murder, craziness, crazy people, just a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. So I have read a couple other series by this author, and most of them I absolutely adore and love. So for the very last book that I'm going to talk about is Penelope Douglas. So I absolutely adored Credence, which is, I say it's a reverse harem. She has a relationship with all three guys, and it's definitely one that was quite shocking to a lot of the romance community, I feel like, who haven't read a reverse harem. Definitely one that I really enjoyed. So our main character, her parents die in like this suicide pact thing, I guess, that they have, and she's kind of left alone. So her father's stepbrother, so it's her step uncle, ends up taking her, you know, under his wing. She goes out to Colorado, I believe, in this mountain area. She's like never lived in any place like this before, and her two step cousins. So she has relationships with all of these guys. They are all very different. Age gap, you definitely have the dark and broody one, and then one who's a little bit more easygoing and like cracks jokes at everything. So you have a guy for each trope that there probably is, and I absolutely adored it. There are some issues with consent in this book that some people don't get along with, which I completely understand, but I really enjoyed this book, and I loved that Penelope Douglas kind of like dipped her toe more into the reverse harem genre, since it is one of my favorite. If you're looking for something that is a little bit out of your box and still want it to end up being like a true she ends up with one person, and you don't know who it's going to be, definitely check this book out. If you like her writing, if you like a good standalone, this one was really good. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching my favorite Kindle Unlimited books of 2020. This has been a crazy year, and definitely one where I haven't been as motivated, and I'm really hoping that's going to change within this next year. But yeah, I read a lot of books, a lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones, but these were some of my absolute favorite Kindle Unlimited books. If you have any recommendations for me, think that I'm going to enjoy any of your favorites, let me know about them. Let's chat about it in the comments down below, and I hope you have a great day and happy reading. Bye.